10,000 years ago, an advanced civilization known as the Sheikah inhabited these lands. The Sheikah were a prosperous people who created and wielded advanced technology in the service of the kingdom of Hyrule's royal family. Throughout the games, we have known who the Sheikah are, starting from Impa back in Ocarina of Time, yet the tribe seems to be vague and somewhat cryptic throughout Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and even Skyward Sword. For the sake of this speculation video, most of this will be linked to Breath of the Wild and perhaps Tears of the Kingdom, where the Sheikah tribe seems to show the most resonance within these games. It perhaps turns out within Breath of the Wild and even Tears of the Kingdom, the Sheikah tribe have been lying to us, and we must discover why. 10,000 years ago. The Sheikah tribe is portrayed as a sophisticated culture whose might and knowledge have saved Hyrule several times within Breath of the Wild. Nevertheless, after the first calamity over 10,000 years ago, their tremendous might have become perceived as a danger to the realm, putting them in conflict with the king and even the people. Kato recounts the Sheikah being expelled, while Rensa mentions their tribe being dispersed over the region. But the tribe we see in Breath of the Wild is simply a sliver to what they truly were and capable of 10,000 years ago. Given that the majority of the tribe is attempting to forsake the vestiges of its technology owing to its banishment from the king in the realm of Hyrule, we're now basically left with guessing what occurred between generation after generation. So here's the problem. We have to tie to fragments of what was genuinely discussed in their stories and perhaps scrolls 10,000 years ago, which appears to be very little. We are left with many assumptions and unsolved questions. As a result, these issues go unanswered, and we begin to doubt the authenticity of Hyrule's alleged past between the kingdom and the Sheikah tribe. How can we truly trust the validity of Impa's story about the legends that were passed down from generation to generation? Is Calamity Ganon truly a real story, or was there something the Sheikah forgot or either hid as a result of their technological neglect? There has to be something more than just simply the technology that presented a threat to Hyrule civilization, and I could go as far as to say that the scrolls could be a complete fabrication devised from the real truth of the legend of Calamity Ganon and from the Sheikah technology. However, the presence of the Guardians and the Divine Beasts is the only element that partly confirms the scroll's validity, or something's kind of missed in between the timeline. Even so, there could have been a reasonable explanation for the king's concern about the technology. For example, if Calamity Ganon had previously demonstrated the ability to infect it with his malice 10,000 years ago. And perhaps the Yiga clan remember it as an arbitrary betrayal and thus documented it as such within their scrolls. But moving on from all these questions and assumptions, to say the Sheikah were in their prime during the time of Zelda and Link is way far from the truth. And that's clearly evident. The Sheikah's prime was 10,000 years ago, and the legends that the tribe believes in today are either lost, half forgotten, or perhaps even fabricated. So where do we truly look in terms of their secrets and perhaps their lies? The monks. These monks were the only ones who meditated deep within the ancient shrines for those 10,000 years, after the last reign of Calamity Ganon, and mummified there within their specified shrine, awaiting the arrival of the next hero. And according to Masterworks, the monks did direct, engineer, and pilot all the divine beasts. These monks are also the ones who have been blessed by Hylia herself, receiving revelations, as they state. So while they are seemingly innocent hiding within these shrines, their power is beyond anything we've seen within the Zelda series. And when Link defeats a strength test shrine, the monk will state, "Your triumph over the test of strength subverts a prophecy of ruin. From the ashes of Hyrule, a hero rises." This partially means that the monks might know a prophecy of ruin that was supposed to happen. Link being defeated 100 years ago and Hyrule burning as a result to Calamity Ganon's demise was a prophecy fulfilled. However, none of that is really mentioned by Impa or those who live in Kakariko Village. So how do the monks know this? And while there is a lot to be said about their power within Breath of the Wild, it can mean that a lot of what we are led to believe regarding the monks, their intentions, and perhaps their roles is quite possibly a lie. Hence, while it is suggested that they are responsible for most of Sheikah's technological apex, it's perhaps hinted that they were the ones to create a false ideal for the kingdom of Hyrule. Wisdom is power. When you first speak to the old man about the past, he said it was the power and wisdom of the Sheikah that saved this land time and time again. Employing power and wisdom in tandem for this tribe is very questionable, especially since we know who genuinely employs these sorts of forces. Throughout the Zelda games, it almost seems like the Triforce is similar to a holy trinity, existing in three co-equal, co-eternal, and co-substantial divine forces. The three golden goddesses gave up their power to this physical force, or for what we know, Din representing power, Nayru representing wisdom, and Farore representing courage. Generally, the Triforce is divided into three separate persons in most of these Zelda games, Zelda representing wisdom, Link representing courage, and Ganon representing power. Yet as far as what we know, the Triforce is not prejudiced toward mortal creatures since it draws no distinction between good and evil. But wielding or directing omnipotent power has its own set of restrictions and either constraints. Yet we have seen in earlier Zelda games the ability to remove pieces of the Triforce from other people, such as in Wind Waker or even A Link Between Worlds. And with knowing all this, it's plausible that the Sheikah are doing something similar in Breath of the Wild in order to gather both forces to destroy Calamity Ganon's cycle. So why does the old man, who we know is King Rome, say that the Sheikah's power and wisdom preserve this kingdom time and time again? So what if the Sheikah truly did use Ganon's Triforce to fuel their ancient technology 10,000 years ago, virtually uniting wisdom and power to create an enlightened society that never had to cope with Ganon's threat ever again, by perhaps imprisoning him under Hyrule Castle? And this might have been a hidden secret among the Sheikah, due to the belief that wisdom is power, which could explain why Calamity Ganon could have easily exploited the power within Hyrule Castle, the divine beasts, and even the guardians. Acquiring and using two types of power to keep Ganon from reincarnating may have been the secret of the Sheikah and even the Hyrule Kingdom. Yet with wisdom combined with power, those two forces may have easily corrupted the old technology and perhaps kept it dormant for so long. So this leads to the question, why is Ganon hidden beneath Hyrule Castle within the trailers for Tears of the Kingdom? Let us now look at why the Sheikah tribe may be more to blame for this usage. They did a forbidden act. The Sheikah Technology. Given to what I previously indicated and the ease with which Calamity Ganon was able to wield the ancient Sheikah technology that had been dormant for millennia, we must investigate the technology the Sheikah developed, as seen by the visited shrines, the Sheikah towers, as well as Link's usage of the ancient Sheikah technology like the Sheikah slate, runes, guiding stones, and even travel gates. But let's move on to how they used this, the source, which is known as the ancient furnaces. These ancient furnaces glow with a blue flame. They are said to be the creations of the ancient Sheikah race. It may be true as they've been burning for 10,000 years. An ancient furnace, according to Robbie, is a solitary location that accumulates vast quantities of energy, meaning that this energy is transformed into the blue flame it creates, which is quite powerful enough to power ancient technology such as guiding stones and travel gates. Thus, after discussing Sheikah's amazing technology, we must discuss what exactly provides them with this power source. Considering that even the divine beasts may be controlled by the champion's spirit forms, it appears that the power source is something very dark. Within the book Creating a Champion, it states how each of the Sheikah technology was used. It states, it is the mysterious source of energy for ancient Sheikah technology. There was a wealth of ancient energy pooled under Hyrule Castle, and they used it to further their studies of the relics. And back to referencing Robbie's remark about the ancient furnaces, that it gathers ancient energy or is pulled from somewhere else and burned to be used for their Sheikah technologies. Hence why we see both of the ancient furnaces within Akkala and the East Nakluda regions. So since ancient energy is gathered, we can only imagine that most of the pool of this ancient energy comes from just underneath Hyrule Castle. This leads many fans to theorize that Ganon is somewhat of a source used by the Sheikah to power their technologies due to the trailers we see from Tears of the Kingdom. The Sheikah may have utilized Ganon's life source in order to fuel their inventions in hopes of ending Ganon's continual cycle. He could no longer be physically revived by using his life force. This may have paused the Calamity cycle for quite a millennia, but as we saw in Breath of the Wild, Ganon ultimately tries to return in a different form. Thus, perhaps the Sheikah are deceiving us about what the actual source of their ancient old technology used, and it all comes back to Hyrule Castle and its construction. Hyrule Castle's secret. From what we know of the Sheikah, they were a prosperous people who created and wielded advanced technology in the service of the kingdom of Hyrule's royal family, perhaps helping with the construction of many things within Hyrule Castle and its many chambers underground. So the two things that stand out within Hyrule Castle and seem to be quite enigmatic are the main control unit for the Sheikah Technology and another resurrection chamber within the castle's walls. And within Masterworks it even states, it is possible that the Great Plateau Tower sent a signal to a central control unit within Hyrule Castle, which in turn transmitted a signal to all of the towers and shrines throughout the land, activating them all at once. So where exactly is this? Is it underneath Hyrule Castle? Or perhaps is it the structure we see at the Tears of the Kingdom's trailer ceiling, because it's clearly made out of Sheikah construction? If anything, this could prove that Ganon is either another source of energy for Hyrule Castle, which again links back to the Sheikah using wisdom and power together to power their technology. And since there is a main control unit within the castle, it's possible that it resides just under the Sheikah Observatory where we fight Ganon, and Masterworks also states that as well. By the way, the Shrine of Resurrection shares its layout with the throne room in Hyrule Castle where Ganon's cocoon is, and they were both designed around the concept of revival. So it's very possible that the power used to oppose the Calamity 10,000 years ago originated from Ganondorf himself. By having Ganon suffer an internal torment, the royal family and even the Sheikah tribe are ultimately responsible for the creation of Calamity Ganon. I guess this is a lesson to learn, that perhaps with a high ambition to use power as a source of wisdom, it ended up becoming the Sheikah tribe's unforgivable downfall, perhaps producing the tears of the Hyrulean kingdom. But with that, we are going to wrap up. Turns out the Sheikah were really lying to us. What do you make of this Breath of the Wild theory video? What do you think the Sheikah are truly doing with Ganon? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.